What's going on, guys? TheBrokenMachine here today, back with a sniping tutorial. With Battlefield 1 coming soon and sniping most likely being more popular in that game, today I thought I'd do a short guide to help us prepare for the next one. Hope you guys have all had a good weekend. It feels like it's been forever since I've uploaded. I've had a bit of a bad weekend, I've been a little bit ill, and I've just had a little fight with a wasp. But anyways, let's get into this. Number one sniping tip that everybody needs to know. Stand still when you take the shot. I see so many people running about and the axis is all over the place. It's awful, it's awful. Standing still will net you an axis bonus. Unless you're super close to your target, just make sure you're stood still. Second tip, always aim for the head. You can get away with body shots up to around 12 meters, but only if your opponent is not using the defensive upgrade. If they are equipped with the defensive upgrade, get out your secondary and finish them off. The Deagle is my go-to secondary. Best advice is to use something that complements your main weapon. A shorty shotgun, for example, would be a great addition to an aggressive sniper like the HD60, but not so wise to use with something like the M98B, which is better suited for longer range engagements. Switching to your secondary after firing is a great habit to form. One question I get asked a lot is, do you hold your breath and when? The answer is, you should always be holding your breath when taking the shot, but not constantly. For aggressive sniping, it's best to hold your breath as you bring up the scope. For longer range engagements, again, get your timing right. Don't hold it in all the time, otherwise you'll be swaying all over the place, leaving yourself vulnerable. As for scopes, stick to the 6 times or the 8 times. A lot of players make the mistake of switching scopes over and over. You don't want to be doing that. Using a single scope makes it much easier to get to grips with the sniper rifles as fast as possible. 6 times is best for aggressive sniping. Highly recommend it on the JNG90. 8 times is more suited to the M98B or the SRR61. Sticking with one scope is essential to building muscle memory. However, if you are using 2 different snipers like many of us do, like the JNG90 or the SRR61 like I mentioned earlier, then do try 6 times on the former and 8 times on the latter. Just don't spend entire matches switching between scopes. Force yourself to use one scope with one particular sniper rifle. Personally, I wouldn't recommend going over 8 times unless you're using a bipod. 7 times scope is ugly as hell, I have no idea why people use that. 6 times does a much better job. Bigger scopes seem tempting, but the higher you go up, the more peripheral vision you lose. A good tip to add here, unless you know your surroundings and where the enemy can come from, make sure not to stand still and scope in for too long, otherwise you're just going to get shot in the face. Unlike other classes, the sniper can be very unforgiving. Make sure you don't hesitate, just take your shot. In this clip, we get some deagle kills, then bam, a quick shot on this guy. No hesitation, just do it. This is a drag shot, where you intend to drag your scope over your target and fire when needed. This is a great technique for dealing with opponents running across the screen or when you think they may be already aiming at you. But at that range, this is a little bit too much. I would definitely not recommend drag scoping any further than this. This is a little bounce shot. You'll see me doing these now and then. Basically, you scope in and using R3, you crouch bounce up and down. Again, this is a technique that's best suited against opponents that are already aiming at you. No scopes are great for the aggressive plays, but wouldn't advise using these too often or at range. The first shot here is all about map knowledge and using that to my advantage. The prediction is skill, but the shot is still lucky. Second shot again is about predicting where the target will be and taking a shot. Third shots we go for a quick scope, switching to secondary to finish them off. Finishing this clip with a nice hard scope around the corner and then arming the objective. Quick scoping is a great technique for aggressive plays and getting yourself out of tricky situations, but it's not easy. Outside of 100 meters, bullet drop will render your shots useless. For newbies, the technique can seem quite complicated, but it's quite simple really. You see the target, you scope in for the head, take the shot. If you're having difficulty learning this technique, head over to the test range and just try it out. This is something you simply have to figure out yourself, so practice, practice, practice. Whether you quick scope, no scope, drag scope, or hard scope depends on the situation, but what's more important is how you approach the map. Scout the map ahead first, have a quick look at your surroundings, Ask yourself, is it safe to move you up yet or not? Unless you're going for aggressive play, try and avoid close range engagements. Hold angles and don't push up unless necessary. You may be able to play aggressive, but going up against more than one player is not usually a wise move, especially with a sniper. Bullet drop and bullet velocity are two things you need to learn and get to grips with. We could spend hours talking about each weapon's bullet drop, velocity, pros and cons and all that stuff, but my advice here is that you learn best by doing it. Choose one sniper, use one scope, take shots, pay attention to where the bullet lands, have fun with it and get used to it. Switching around scopes and switching weapons, it's just going to mess up your muscle memory, so it's always a good idea just to stick with one sniper, get used to it, get used to the game, get used to the overall how to use snipers and all that jazz, and then try and move on to other weapons. Remember, all sniper scopes are zeroed at 100 meters. What that basically means is, if you aim at someone 100 meters away, the shot will land dead center. You can change the distance if you wish. Personally, I think you'd be better off just getting used to the bullet drop and velocity. A good tip to quickly figuring out how far a player is away from you is to look at the nearby flags. So for example, say flag A is 200 meters away, your opponent looks around halfway between, do the math, easy. Lastly, what about long-range sniping? I get asked this a lot, and honestly, I'm not much of a long-range sniper. I don't particularly enjoy it, but I will give some good tips. Equipment is your best friend. The portable laser designator and the rangefinder, those are two good things to equip. Do I really need to explain those? They're pretty self-explanatory. They show the distances. You either zero in at a different distance and or adjust your shot. There isn't really much more to say than that. Again, it's you just have to use this equipment. They're straightforward and you just have to try it out. You'll just get it. That's all I can really say about that. But as for which snipers to use for long range, I would recommend the M98B or the SRR61. Those are two my go-to snipers for long range. For other snipers like the JNG90 or the M40, they're mainly for aggressive kind of plays and up to like mid-range engagements. Any further than that, and you're probably best sticking with the M98B, to be honest. And that's it for today. When BF1 drops, we'll be going into more depth with the guides. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. And you guys, what the hell is going on? Why have you not entered my BF1 contest? I can't believe this. I think it's at 700 people now. I've got 16,000 subscribers and only 700 people have entered my Battlefield 1 giveaway. That's just insane, so make sure to go check that out. I hope this guide helps. Be sure to hit that like button if it did. And go check out simfic.com. I'll leave a link in the description. That website has more detailed weapon stats, so if you want to, try and get into the meta game and figure out which one's the best one for you, that's a good site to check out. And that is it for today. Until next time, guys, take it easy, and I'll see you later.